Hello, we're going to discuss today the preparation of cane to be used with the Opus1 Gouger, and we're going to gouge this piece of cane on the machine as well. The first thing to check is that the cane has been soaked in soup hot water. Not too hot, but it needs to be warm so it soaks up more thoroughly. Soup hot is a good temperature to consider. The cane also should be guillotined to a certain length and planed. And the planing should be done in a fashion that the width across the cane from here to here is 8 millimeters. It can be slightly more or slightly less. Let's say 8 1/4 would be the maximum I would consider, and 7 3/4 would be the minimum I would feel would be good. If the cane is wider than that, it causes the cutting action of the blade and guide to be altered, and so the results will be different than if the cane is 8 millimeters. The same happens as if the cane is planed too thin, like 7 millimeters, for example. It won't work as well, or the results will be different. So 8 millimeters is a good standard width to consider. Okay, once the cane is planed correctly, I will put it in the gouger like this, under the left clip first against the cane stop, then let the right hand side come down, center it with my finger, let the right hand clip come back into contact, then I will pull the side out over here and let it come back in. So now the cane grip mechanism has come into play and is holding the cane on the right hand side. I have another video that shows the operation of the bed in that fashion if you have any questions about that. So next step is to close the carriage. I then put my left hand thumb on above the left hand guide, and I kind of use this little surface over here for that as a platform, and then my right hand grips around this little center post like this, and the right hand is used more as a pushing force, whereas the left hand thumb is used as the downward pressure force for the carriage. And there's not a whole lot of pressure being used, but this is the focal point of the pressure. So then I go backwards with the carriage, and I let some cane come up like this, a few passes first, until I feel I'm cutting into the cane some. Then I will flip the cane over. Each time making sure that the cane is taken out of the bed like that before I gouge. And I will feel it bottom out at this point, and then I will flip it again. For this side, no cane comes up now. I'll flip it one more time, and I will do that so until I have no cane coming up on both pencils. I have a little smidgen of a whisker come up there, so I will flip it one more time. Always checking that the cane is taken off the blade, so I can see if any cane comes up, and I'll know that it is fresh cane and not something from a previous pass. Okay, now the piece of cane has been gouged. I have nothing coming up from both directions. I can eyeball down the end of the piece of cane here, looking at it directly, and I will see, if I put the camera here, I can see it. You really can't tell, but you can look down there to see that the gouge looks symmetrical, as it should. And then I use a pair of calipers to measure the thickness with a little bullet head attachment that I make that functions like a micrometer tip. And I will put that down inside the gouge to see what we get. And we do indeed get 60 in the center. And on the sides, we get about 4 to 6 just beyond the ear point. And I also like to check the midpoint of the gouge, which is halfway between the center of the gouge and behind the ears. And I get about 55 at that point, which is what I want. And that's really all there is to it. At this point, I will shape it up and make a reed. When I'm finished gouging, always take a piece of cotton and wipe off the blade like this to remove any kind of dust from the cane. Close it under the carriage, and I'll squirt oil inside here, which I don't have in front of me here, but I'll take the oil can and just a little squirt inside the opening the blade is nice and saturated with oil to prevent rust. Since it is steel and it was in contact with wet cane, rust is always something that can happen if this is not taken care of. And that's really all there is in gouging a piece of cane with the Opus1 Gouger. Any questions, please call me or contact me at Opus1Gouger.com. I'll have my contact information on that website. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much.